Alright, this is the start of the video to introduce the Blazer with the mods that it has right now. This is going to get a turbo here. She's got 253,800 miles on it. I think I've had this truck, I'm pretty sure, since 123,000. In the last 2 years, I've put in a trans cooler with temperature gauge, oil cooler with temperature gauge. I've cut the cat out, I've cut the muffler out. It's straight piped into a cherry bomb. And pretty much the only major things that have ever gone wrong with this truck have been an intake gasket that's gone out on it. So it's pushed coolant into the oil before, and it's a little hairy underneath the engine, but we're getting things rounded out. This has been temporary. It has been giving me really high air intake temperatures, but that's soon to be out of here. One weird temporary fix that's actually outlasted what I thought would be like a 2-month thing was my seal was bad, so believe it or not, I was losing brake fluid dripping out down here. This isn't damp at all, and it really doesn't seem to be escaping the cap, so just this little bit of a rag, which is a tub of towel, has done wonders there. But a couple things just to show how I got my temperature install is I got a really cheap tee, and then I used a compression fitting because that would give me the best grip on there. I didn't want a hose clamp, you know, just hose onto there or flare the line, because that's just something that could slip off. My experience with compression fittings has been pretty good, so I pretty much just got that coming off, looping through. I'm going through some breather pockets here right out into the front. This is the engine oil cooler. I'm going to upgrade this one to a plate cooler, which this guy's going to go next door. This is the trans cooler. This is going to go for the engine. And typically, if I'm driving, not stop and go, I will have 150, 160 degree trans temp in the summer, and the oil temp is about 180 to 210. It just it doesn't seem to mind. The oil temperature changes a lot, either driving or standing still, that I've noticed. But a couple of things that I've changed on the truck. This all needs to be finalized. I'm just using some really thick duct tape as like a spacer, so it's not metal on metal. That's where you'll see the duct tape here and there. And then this is just some hose clamps that were sticking out in the back, so I used some duct tape on there. But I'm gonna try to find some black better material. I've relocated the battery into the vehicle so it doesn't cook so much in the heat, and it seems to last a lot longer. Run 1.0 gauge all the way to the back, 1.0 gauge from the alternator, factory distribution block with a 175 amp fuse. I got the DR44 alternator upgrade. Now this went in really easy for me. This was the 2-wire version, so I just found another 2-wire version. Can't remember if this was an Escalade special or a Silverado, but I did get this year. It's just a few months old. And the one upgrade I did, this belt I've had since I've had the truck, and it's already frayed. So I put over 100,000 miles just on this belt. I have a spare inside ready to go. I have a bunch of spare stuff. I need to fix my AC. That all got taken out, and I'm wondering where I'm going to route the turbo through. I can move stuff around. I can definitely find areas, but there's definitely spots where I'm thinking I could run and either put the turbo up top or put the turbo underneath and have to run a scavenge pump for the oil line. Otherwise, the next few mods that are coming, I need to go to the junkyard and find a pair of lines. I can't find what I did with mine, and I'm going to turn this into onboard air. I've seen a couple write-ups how to do that, so that's going to be fun. One thing I really want to do soon is put electric cooling fans in and get rid of this belt-driven one. As reliable as it is, and as much as I like it, I do want a few more flywheel horsepower. I did manage to find this XL high-performance ignition coil. Don't really notice any differences from it, but eventually I want to find out what this is called, the hat, the LS hat or whatever. I want to find the metal one that maybe has a center clamp, or maybe I'll just put an elbow that grips onto the throttle body itself for when the turbo comes, because I hear these blow off a lot and it's a really shitty seal inside. Other than that, I think I've changed this out in the 10 years that I've owned it. I've got 8mm high performance cheapo eBay wires that don't seem to make any kind of performance difference. I recently installed a universal joint in the steering. It's not a really good way to see. There it is. It's not the Flamin' River one, but it's the eBay cheapo. It's a 1 inch to 3/4. I had to modify that. I gotta fix this fender well too, because that's a little holy. But pretty much the next few things that are happening are going to be hood pins, the turbo. Let's see if I can see where the exhaust is. Okay, here we go. We got a nice clean view. So here's the, yeah, it's really shitty welding because it was blowing through, but this is one possibility for where I could put the turbo, down here where the muffler's at. It's not enough slope to put the oil back into the pan, so I might have to run a scavenge pump somewhere above this cross member, and just neck it right off of there. But I do have a full exhaust kit to put on, so literally all of this is going to come out. All the exhaust is going to come out. I kind of centered my tip. It's not obnoxiously loud. It just burbles a little bit. When you get on it, of course, it sounds like a V6. I have all my skid plates off right now, just chasing down the leaks. That is the transfer case fluid. The transfer case is a pinhole leak. So I'm dealing with the transfer case pinhole leak for now. I'm just siliconing a band-aid on it. But the last few things that have happened after messing up this front end here was I destroyed my vacuum actuator for 4-wheel drive. So here's a really good fix. Get some Harbor Freight cheapo ratchet straps. Use 3 of them. Keep an extra strap, but use another ratchet. And then I literally just I ripped the boot off of there. I kept this part. This is normally inside that rubber where the vacuum actuator sucks and draws it in. But I just put some multi-purpose wire on a ratchet strap. So when I want to go 4-wheeling, I just ratchet strap it. If I did it with 2 hands, I could do it, but you just ratchet strap it, pulls it in, locks the front axle, so when you push the 4-wheel drive button under the hood, it works just fine. But a lot of things are going to get cleaned up. I'm going to find a good distribution block for these guys. I'm going to find some good 250 amp or 200 amp, whatchamacallit, circuit breakers. Probably a 300 for this guy, because on a cold start in the winter, I hear these can really put out some really high power. The DR44G, it's like the 135 or 145 amp GM model. I have a spare 135, it says 135 on it. This one I don't think says anything. I don't know what that was, or could have said, but definitely tell this is a full throttle truck because there's no more orange left on my throttle blade spring. I do have the throttle body blade done to this as well. That was a noticeable change, pulling that throttle body blade off and taking that diverter. That did make a lot of instant pedal power. My next plans are, after I do the trans cooler to engine cooler swap, the engine cooler currently, this plate style one, that's going to be extra, and that's going to end up replacing the power steering cooler, which somehow, and I don't know why, every time I start the truck within 25 seconds, maybe even a minute in the winter, but about 25 seconds or so, this is blazing hot. And that's power steering, and the power steering is good, the power steering is full, power steering is clean. So I noticed the power steering is just held on with some hose clamps. So, and these are hard lines here, so I'm just going to get some barbs from Home Depot, extend these lines out, maybe cut them back a little bit. It's hard to see, but they're factory. So I'll just cut those, I'll get some more of this thick shit, and everything's going to have its nice own little cooler. And then thinking about it, you know, if I leave this fan on, the factory fan, that means air is always going to circulate. So when I do headers aren't going to cook the engine bay when the fan's not running, because the fan only runs when it needs to. But anyway, those are the basics for the truck. And the turbo kit I ordered. The turbo kit should be coming today. I was hoping it would come while I'm filming this video. The turbo kit is a T046E. I don't know too much about the turbo. I just know that from the boost map that I've seen, if I want to run 8 pounds or 12 pounds with that turbo ever, it will support, and it will be in the turbos